Hello, you are watching Shalom World News. I'm Rory McLennan coming to you from Glasgow, Scotland. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. Pope Francis will honour the Blessed Virgin by placing a golden rose at the feet of the renowned Roman icon of the Salus Populi Romani in the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore on the 8th of December, that being the feast of the Immaculate Conception. The pontiff will also perform an act of veneration to the Holy Mother in front of the Immaculate Conception statue at Rome's Piazza di Spagna. With the gift of the rose, the Holy Father intends to emphasise the spiritual importance and significance of this historic icon. Only two popes in history, namely Paul V and Julius III, have donated the golden rose previously. The US State Department has claimed that Hamas terrorists are refusing to release the remaining female Israeli hostages because they do not want the women to disclose the abuses they endured during captivity. About 18 women are suspected to be still under Hamas custody. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller blamed Hamas's refusal to release the women as the reason for the collapse of the ceasefire on Friday. Israel has demanded action from the United Nations after compiling several reports of rape and sexual assault. Meanwhile, the Israeli Health Ministry has reported that Hamas drugged the released hostages to make them appear happy. European Union officials are warning of possible terrorist attacks across Europe during the Christmas season. With the conflict between Israel and Hamas ongoing, EU Home Affairs Commissioner Ylva Johansson said there is an increased chance of terrorist attacks in the region during the festive season. Her warning came in the context of a recent fatal knife attack near the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Nevertheless, Johansson did not specify any particular information for the warning. Meanwhile, German Interior Minister Nancy Faeser stressed the need for a tight watch on threats and propaganda, as there was a high possibility of increased emotionalisation and radicalisation of violent Islamist perpetrators. US Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith and Representative Christopher Smith, who are the chairs of the Senate and House pro-life caucuses, are spearheading bipartisan opposition to a proposed rule targeting the use of temporary assistance for needy families funding by pregnancy centres and anti-abortion programmes. In a letter endorsed by other senators and House members, the lawmakers urge Health and Human Services Secretary Xavier Becerra to withdraw the rule, contending that it undermines the scheme's purpose by endangering support for pregnancy centres and alternatives to abortion programmes. The proposed rule singles out crisis pregnancy centres, with lawmakers arguing that the Health and Human Services Department overlooks the comprehensive services provided by over 2,700 pregnancy centres. They express concern that redirecting funds towards Planned Parenthood-like programmes might be a strategy to support the abortion industry. This move is being criticised as another attempt by the Biden administration to allocate taxpayer dollars accordingly. The US House Judiciary Committee and its Select Subcommittee on Monday released an interim report on the breach of religious freedom by the FBI. The report investigated the FBI's categorization of certain Catholic Americans as potential domestic terrorists. In February this year, the committee began its work after whistleblower Kyle Serafin disclosed the existence of the Richmond Memorandum in internal FBI systems. The memorandum from the FBI's Richmond Field Office painted certain traditionalist Catholics as violent extremists. The committee is tasked with investigating violations of the civil liberties of citizens of the United States. Kuwait's Catholic community is concluding a year-long celebration of the 75th Jubilee of the Church of Our Lady of Arabia, the country's first Catholic church. The festivities that began on December the 11th last year will end on December the 8th this year with a solemn liturgy presided over by French Bishop Aldo Berardi. Father Michael Fernandez, Irish prelate Eugene Martin Nugent and other Kuwaiti priests will also assist in the liturgy. Qatari and Bahraini representatives will also be present. Meanwhile, the government has cancelled additional celebrations due to the ongoing suffering in Gaza. The Kuwaiti church was dedicated to Our Lady of Arabia in 1956. New regulations from the Biden administration propose excluding potential adoptive parents and faith-based fostering groups from foster care and adoption unless they accept new guidelines on sexual orientation and gender. According to a group of Republican attorneys, this could affect Christians, violating the US Constitution and discriminating against those with traditional beliefs on marriage, family, and sexual morality. The attorneys also stated that the rule will harm children who might otherwise have prospered with Christian families. They added that the foster care system would face a critical lack of placement options without faith-based organisations and foster homes. The Rosary for Spain campaign has confirmed that at least 50 cities will jointly seek the intercession of Mother Mary, their patroness, on December the 8th. José Andrés Calderón, who is the campaign's promoter, said that it is essential for Catholics to worship God and venerate His most pure Mother, as Spain is facing serious risks of territorial and spiritual rupture as a result of progressive balkanisation, the hijacking of Parliament by anti-Spanish forces, and the destruction of the middle class. Urging all Christians to participate in public life, Mr. Calderón said that all of Spain's great battles have been won with the Rosary in hand. The Latin American and Caribbean Episcopal Council, also known as Shalom, expressed their solidarity with the Guatemalan Bishop of Huehuetenango, Cardinal Álvaro Ramazzini, following an attack against his dignity and moral integrity by the public ministry under the pretext of false information. On November the 30th, the Cardinal publicly addressed rumours regarding a potential lawsuit and an arrest warrant against him. The prelates of Shalom said in their statement that the Cardinal is a witness of the gospel of Jesus Christ, incarnated in the poorest, whose voice reveals the feelings of a people who seek ways to express their just demands. The bishop stated that it is the mission of the Church to stand by the Cardinal, who takes care of the lives and concerns of the people. Education advocate Malala Yousafzai criticised the Taliban's treatment of women in Afghanistan during an annual event organised by the Mandela Foundation in Johannesburg in South Africa. She expressed her concern that the Taliban has effectively made girlhood illegal in the country. Yousafzai lamented the impact of denying girls access to education, noting that those kept out of school experience depression and anxiety. She went on to draw parallels between the Taliban's treatment of women and apartheid. In 2012, she survived an assassination attempt by the Taliban during a gunshot wound to the head while travelling home from school. Despite the experience, she not only recovered, but continued her advocacy work on a global scale. In recognition of her efforts, she was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2014, becoming the youngest ever recipient of this prestigious award at the age of 17. Two gigantic entry doors of Washington, D.C.'s Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception have been closed in anticipation of the Jubilee year of 2025. The doors, which were blessed and sealed by Archbishop Timothy Broglio, will reopen as a holy door for pilgrims on Christmas Eve next year. Holy doors are pilgrimage entrances to cathedrals and other churches during Vatican-approved jubilees, with a focus on hope amid myriad global crises. The 2025 Jubilee year will begin on December the 24th in 2024 and conclude on January the 6th in 2026. Earlier, the Basilica had holy doors in 2000 and in 2016. Puerto Rican music star Daddy Yankee has said farewell to reggaeton to dedicate the rest of his life to Christ. He said goodbye to his fans during a final show in Puerto Rico on Sunday. The star, whose real name is Ramon Luis Ayala Rodriguez, announced that all the gains he had from music would now be used to serve his faith. He told the crowd that faith helped him fill the emptiness in life. While thanking his fans, Rodriguez expressed his hope that they would also support him in his new beginning. And those are your latest headlines. Do join us again next time for more, and do remember in the meantime, you can always visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.